Alright, gonna do the same thing I did last time. Just going a little bit of a schizo rant while I'm doing some background farming. Right now, looking for the regional variants of all the soldier and knight armors. Didn't catch it last night because I was streaming at the time, but Fillian and company managed to finish their hardcore Minecraft run. And I've been watching on and off while that was going on and noticed all the, very obviously canned visual effects and, knocking noises. So I was heavily speculating already that something was going on. Figured it had something to do with Fillian's re-debut. For those not in the loop, Fillian got her start actually as more of a VR chat gremlin than as a actual traditional VTuber, as it were. And as such, she was using a duty-free model. Now, because of that, she wasn't able to use it for large-scale merchandising. And VTubers get a fair amount of their money off of merchandise. So she's always kind of been a little hamstrung by the fact that she's using, basically a free model that literally anyone can use, albeit a modified version. Her own personalized one. So she's been talking about re-debuting for a while. I kind of figured it had something to do with that. I was in fact correct. I wish I'd said something publicly, but now it looks like I'm just making shit up. Don't mind. So when the stream eventually ends, she did another little skit type thing, which was probably pre-recorded, where she walked around all frantic-like, and was talking about stuff about going away for a while, meaning she's probably going to be on hiatus for a bit. Understandable. And then she's going to show us her world, which almost definitely just means getting re-debut. Possibly with some other, added virtual reality type stuff layered on top of it, but that's just speculation. Main thing is probably coming back here in a minute with, a new look and a new merch. Understandable. The main part is that at the end of it, for a few frames, right before, there's the gloves I was looking for. Now I have all these guys' gear. They're teleporting around. So anywho, what all that comes down to is, at the end of the stream, for the last couple of frames before stream cut out, there was a URL, a YouTube URL specifically, which I and a bunch of other guys, I think, topped out at maybe 350. So there weren't that many people who managed to catch it, I guess, who went and watched this new live stream, which was on a small, cryptically named channel. I'll probably link it here in the description in case you want to check it out. Where the video's description had something that was in, I believe, what they called Caesar cipher, which is basically where you just count up or down a certain number for each letter, and it translated to something about finer, a new beginning, etc., etc. Stock standard stuff you'd expect from this sort of thing. And the live stream itself was a black box with an overlay of occasional ambient noises that were all very cryptic, and stuff like, the sound of wind, the sound of maybe being underwater, a crowd murmuring, and then I think 10 or 15 minutes straight of cicadas, which I can identify those pretty much at will because I live in the Midwest and I watch anime, and cicadas are big here and big in Japan. Anywho, so people have been schizoing out about this because it's what's referred to as an alternate reality game, or ARG, where there's basically a bunch of clues spread around in, metadata and coded messages and the sounds that are being played, and trying to direct you to this and that various website where there's another little breadcrumb that leads you to another one, and it's all good fun. I think she put a a lot of work into this, even if she's maybe not like a Cicada 3031 or whatever the name of that other ARG is. That was kind of a big deal a while back. I'm kind of going on a schizo rant right now, Luceraine. Sorry I missed your message, but the long and short of it is, what I'm trying to do is make a character that is high level and has multiples of everything, so that I can very easily back up the save onto like the cloud or a thumb drive or something. And then I can use a larval tier to rework the character into making whatever I want to play around with for, you know, an hour or a day or a week. And then when I'm done doing that, I can just reload the save and then have it all be done with. I can just use it to like play around with wacky builds, cosplay characters, just kind of any little fun thing I want to throw on. So, that answers your question. I hope you heard that. Sorry if not, I'm just kind of going on a rant right now. Because I wasn't looking at chat at the time I was recording. Not a big like expert on ARGs. I know how they work, how they operate. So I'm going to leave it to people who are more schizophrenic and or autistic than I am. And who also probably don't have as much responsibility at work. But I will be watching with great interest. Like, the only real contribution I made to like the whole search was somebody in the chat mentioned something about looking up other people in the chat in case they're plants, and I typed in one guy's username, and it came back as a mostly defunct website from like over a decade ago, where the guy was like working on some very minor app and he was doing some research into solar panels or something. And then it turned out that for whatever reason, the top result on Google when I looked that up was, I think, a list of the top 1,000 Guild Wars clans. Which is interesting because Fillian was, back in the day, apparently a little MMO gremlin playing Guild Wars 2. Does it mean anything? I don't know, but it's fun speculating. So I'm going to stop ranting, stop recording, so this will go up to YouTube sometime later, and just get back to farming. Sorry about that, Lucari Rain, or whatever your name was.